Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson, and thanks to each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. As I mean this with nothing but love, Curtis, it's good to see you not next to me this time around, because it means we're back in Arkansas, and it's me and you again, because Ellis, of course, is in Arlington, and he is going to join us around 1 o'clock today to give us a little vibe check on what's going on there with the college baseball series. But we're going to have so much to talk about. We're going to preview games. We're going to preview the weekend. Going to have what to watch. We're going to have everything to talk about, as well as the chats. But Curtis, yeah, it's good to be back here on a Friday in a cold but snowy area of Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't left my house since we got back, and I don't know. Me and Michelle talked about grabbing some dinner tonight, but I also don't want to get out in this nonsense. From that standpoint, I miss Auburn because of the warmer weather, but my goodness, it feels good to be back home, and it's kind of crazy. I was really excited for our trip, but I am also happy to now be home and have Andrew Ellis as the on-site correspondent for Razorback Athletics on the road. So it's his turn to carry that torch now, and I'm sure he's going to kill it down there. Looking forward to hearing from him.
Yep. And again, folks, 1 o'clock today will be when we hear from old Ellis and get a little vibe check on everything, because Arkansas's had some success down there, and they've also had some interesting moments in games and, of course, play, and to see where this team all stacks up. So we'll get into that, of course, again at 1 o'clock. But so much to talk about, especially with college basketball. And we will get to my luggage gate. I know like I teased it a little bit yesterday on Twitter, and I didn't want to open the show, Curse. I thought about it. I was like, man, because I know people were asking about it. I thought about it, but I'm like, dude, if no one literally cares about it, that'll be the quickest way. If they're like, I just want to hear Razorback basketball, you idiots. I don't care about this luggage thing. So I'm like, I'll save it, hype it up, and then later in the show, we'll talk about it.
Are you looking at the chat right now? You might be burying the lead, man. I don't know.
I know. I know. I saw that too, and I'm like, did I set myself up for failure? I don't know if that means that they are just that interested into the story, or they care that little about our Razorback basketball takes and everything else. I don't know.
It might be a little bit of both at this point. At which case, I'm slightly offended, but also understanding of the situation. But yeah, man, the chat's all over it. This is your decision, right? Yeah. I'm taking no blame for what John decides to do moving forward here with this show.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say, how about this, folks? We'll do a little bit of both. We'll meet in the middle. Okay. We will discuss the luggage, but not right now. But we won't wait till the end. So because I feel like I always hate when people did that too, when it shows where if they're like, I have some big news, we're gonna have this huge blast, it's gonna be crazy, and they wait till the very end, and it's like 5 minutes, and it's like, that was awful. So, anyways, yeah, I'm getting worked right now. Apparently, the luggage thing was happening.
Pretty good.
Jeez. Okay. Well, again, we'll get to the luggage in a second, folks. I won't keep you guys waiting too long. I know you guys got things to do, but I do want to get into, of course, we know Arkansas's, you don't want to call it a 2-game losing streak, but I guess technically it is. But you lose to 2 top 10 teams on the road, we know, and you lost to A&M, should have won. You lost to Auburn, should have won. I mean, that's just kind of the reality. I know Pot at the Palace has talked a lot about that and everything, but now you got to turn the page, just like every other loss that you have. And you got Missouri coming to town tomorrow night in Bud Walton Arena, a Missouri team that's coming off of a major win at home against Alabama, a Missouri team that is one of the better teams in the SEC. And if Dennis Gates does not win Coach of the Year, I mean, I understand there's other candidates, but the job that he's done has been incredible, from going 0-18 last year. But me and Curtis talked about this. So we set this up. This is our show prep in our 9.5-hour drive from yesterday. Me and him kind of feel the same way. Almost, we don't have a good feeling about this game. We don't have a good feeling. In fact, it's almost like I feel better about the game against A&M going into it, better, even the Auburn game, than this Missouri game. I can't really fully explain why. Maybe you can, Curtis, but I mean, why do we feel this way? Or why do you feel that way, where it's just this game just doesn't give you a good vibe right now?
A few things, and I feel a little bit better today than I did yesterday. I got to admit, I really thought it through and I slept on it, and I feel a little better. But one, it's I mean, Missouri's got a ton of momentum. You could look at that a couple ways. It's like, one, they're due for a letdown or a stinker, or two, they're just really playing like one of the better teams in the country, right now. But I think part of it's, we've already seen this story play out once with Arkansas and Missouri. It was rough, man. Like, it was over by the first media timeout. It's 18-2. Like, Missouri jumped out on them, and it was just never a competitive game. So there's that aspect of it. There's the Arkansas not playing well at home angle. There's the close but no cigar. Like, oh, every time they're really competitive with these top 10, they've had 3 top 10 teams on the ropes in the last 4 games, and they haven't gotten over the hump. Like, there's so many reasons why you would probably not feel great about this one. But at the end of the day, for me, I simplify it, man, to Arkansas doesn't have a signature win in its home building. Are we really going to go through this entire year without a meaningful win in Bud Walton Arena? You have 2 opportunities left to get it. I know they play Texas at home, and people care about that. It's a bubble game, but like, you've got ranked Missouri or ranked Mississippi State. You have to get one of those. And I really hope it's Missouri, because I'm with you with the show title. You can't get freaking swept by Dennis Gates. I don't care how good that Missouri basketball team is. You can't let it happen, man.
No, not at all. And especially as this game is, again, at home. And I'm glad you brought up the home court. Right now, what is the best home win Arkansas has?
It's Georgia.
In Bud Walton Arena. It's like, how, and that's the whole point. It's like, how terrible is that? I mean, I can't remember a time where Arkansas, even in the years that they weren't very good, that had a win. Their biggest win was against a team in the SEC that, like, probably won't even make the NCAA tournament. Like, that's just such a weird thing to think. Even last year's team, they beat Duke. At least they had that to add to it. Of course, the years of Muss, they had success. But Mike Anderson, say what you want about him, that dude was always good for a win or 2 at home for no reason, really had no business winning. It was just always something. And you mentioned 3 games left at home with Missouri, Texas, and Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a good team. They're an NCAA tournament team, top 25 team. But yeah, it would just feel weird. It would feel uncharacteristic. It would feel shameful to not have Bud Walton Arena and the good fans of Razorback fandom that go to those games have a win in the entire year that they can look back upon and be like, man, that was a nice win. You got to give them something. Have to.
Yeah, and I mean, they're 1 more loss away in Bud from going under 500 in SEC play at home. Like, if you're a tournament team, you just don't do that. If you're really a tournament team, your best win in your own building isn't against Georgia. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it's so crazy, man, that, well, 2 things. One, if you look at like the total bodies of work between these 2 teams, you think, well, shoot, man, it's like a Missouri game. Or a Missouri team that's already won 20 games, and here they come strutting into to Fayetteville to play an Arkansas team they already beat. They blew them out earlier. There are a lot of reasons to think that this is I don't know, like a mismatch sort of on paper. But if you look at, I love going over to Torvik and messing with the numbers there. In the month of February, Missouri is playing like the number 2 team in the country, and they've got the top offensive efficiency in the country. Arkansas, though, in the month of February, and Cats by 90 loves this when I do the numbers here, but it's just a reflection of how the teams are playing right now. They're number 16 in the country, and they have a top 5 defense. So based on the body of work, different story, but based on the way the 2 teams are playing right now, you got a top 20 matchup inside Bud Walton Arena. So let's get a little bit crazy here, shall we?
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. And especially given, no moral victories and all that, because we talked about it, but there's no doubt that you're playing better. I mean, you are playing better. You're not playing good enough to win, but what you did against A&M, what you did against Auburn, I still firmly believe that if those 2 games were played 3 weeks ago, you'd get the doors blown off of you. Like, you would get disgusting. But you are being better. You are playing better, but you just haven't found a way to win. And, we could sit here and talk about and regurgitate the stuff that we have with Arkansas losing to A&M and Auburn, but you're just hoping, hey, well, let's just hope that 17 turnovers doesn't happen. Let's just hope that Big Z doesn't go 0 for 10. Let's just hope. Those are the things where it's just do the simple things. Just do the simple things, and you'll be fine. You'll be in the game. You're good enough to beat Missouri. That's the thing. It's like, you're good enough to do it. You just got to actually, do it. And so give the home fans a little bit of something. Give them something to celebrate. Give them something to feel good about. And it's going to really elevate things, because I'm with you on the Missouri and beating Dennis Gates and all of that. Not just because of it's Missouri and Dennis Gates, but I said it before, say it again. I do not want to go to that Mississippi State game. Just not. You got to win this one if you really want to get into the tournament. I feel like if you win this one, you're pretty solid. You're pretty solid in the tournament. You still got, you got to win games, but you should win against in front of you. But I just don't want to have it to where the Mississippi State game feels like a gosh, they got to get this one. If they don't, we may be sitting home selection Sunday. I do not want to be in that position.
Yeah, man, I'm so sick of and like it's relevant, so I've got to do it, but I'm so tired of doing the participation trophy thing.
Yeah.
Of, well, they analytically they covered, so they actually moved up in Ken Pump. I'm so sick of that, man. Win games. Like that's what you got to do at this point is get some dubs. It's crazy how bad bracketologists want Arkansas to be in the NCAA tournament. They are begging somebody, particularly Arkansas, to notch a huge win. Like if you go look at the bracket matrix thing, I talk about it all the time. They update their brackets. Arkansas is included. They're in the field as of right now in the whole conglomeration there, and they're in 68 out of 108 brackets right now. If they beat Missouri, I'm telling you right now, they're going to be in over 90% of the brackets. Like they're just asking you to win a single solitary game. Just win a good one, man. And you're going to be right where you need to be. And it's just funny to look at all that. And you can just see the hesitation in some people that are like, we really want to put him there because the rest of the bubble sucks. But like, you have to get one of these good wins. And if you go outside the field at like the next teams or whatever, nobody else is in more than like 26 of the brackets. Like Arkansas has the best case resume wise to get in, but now you just gotta get the wins to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's all it takes. All it takes. Just get those wins. And the latest, I know there's a lot of different places. We'll get to your chats, folks. But the latest in bracketology, I'm just looking at Joey Brackett. Joe Lenardi's just one of them. But I kind of low key like this. He has Arkansas in the play-in game as an 11 seed playing VCU. And if Arkansas was to win that game against VCU, then Dayton, mind you, they would travel to Cleveland.
It's perfect for us.
Oh, yeah, perfect for our travel arrangements. Travel to Cleveland to face the 6th seed Louisville. So we know how Cal and, the history he has with this program of Louisville, even though it's different coaches and all that. But still, you would have that. But, Curtis, if Arkansas was to beat Louisville in Cleveland, according to Joe Lenardi, they would probably play the 3 seed Kentucky. Again, this is just a projection, so it's not saying it would happen, but wow. Could you imagine?
Let's live in a world here where Joe Lenardi nails it with his bracket projections. That would be insane. Dude. I mean, that would be absolutely insane. I love the idea of going from Dayton to Cleveland. We were stressing about that on the drive yesterday. Like, shoot, like, heck, knock on wood, like, hope that Arkansas gets in, period. But like that would happen Sunday, and then we would need to get to Dayton Monday, and then they might play Tuesday, and then you don't know where the heck you need to go Wednesday because they'll play Thursday. From Dayton to Cleveland, it's like 3 hours or something. So cool. That would be awesome. But yeah, that would be insane. And regionally, the place would be flooded with Louisville and Kentucky fans, I would imagine. But that would be absolutely insane. Louisville, I wonder, I'm sure our Kentucky friends would be able to tell us more about Louisville's situation, but it seems like they were kind of going through it in non-conference, but they might just be better than most of the crappy teams in the ACC, and they've rattled off a ton of wins. Like, they've handled business. I think that's a vulnerable 6 seed. Like a lot of people, and whether it would be Arkansas or VCU who even won that play-in game, a lot of people would be doing that 11-6 upset in the first round. I really believe that. But my goodness, give me Arkansas and Kentucky in I don't know how my soul would take it, man, but it would be cinema, absolute cinema.
Yeah, because it would honestly just go the two ways. It would be either absolute incredible behavior by Cal to beat Kentucky not once, but twice in the same year after he leaves, and one of them being in the tournament to go to the Sweet 16, the thing that these Kentucky fans have said, and he won't get to. He's cooked. He doesn't know how. Curtis Wilkerson, could you imagine that? Him beating Kentucky of all teams to advance to the second weekend.
I mean,
man,
what that would be is if you think back to Coach K's last year, right?
Yeah.
Where North Carolina walked in there, they beat him in his last game at Cameron Indoor, and then they beat him in his last game, period, in the Final Four. And like, it doesn't matter how many times in a row Duke beats North Carolina for the next 10 years. It's done. North Carolina owns them. Like it's just their rivalry now, and it doesn't freaking matter. If Arkansas goes into Rupp and wins Cal's return and then pops them in the NCAA tournament in the same year, it's a wrap. It's curtains, man. There's nothing Mark Pope could do. He could win the national title next year. I'm not going to care. I swear I won't. It would be insane.
I would just love it so much. But then on the other side of it, too, if Arkansas did lose to Kentucky, then it would be –
that would suck.
Yeah, the complete opposite feeling. Like the one thing that Cal hasn't been able to do that Kentucky fans accused him of, Kentucky being like, hey, you may have won the battle, but we won the war type crap. Like, that would be a bad feeling. And let's just not even think about that one. Let's think about the more fun one. But yeah.
Could we at least spin Kentucky was the 3 seed. They're supposed to beat the 11. And hey, Arkansas won 2 NCAA tournament games to get to that point. Would Cal have escaped any allegations? I'll spin it. I'll spin it.
It wasn't because it's about Cal winning 2 games in the tournament. He would win technically 2 games in the tournament. So you can't say that he's cooked. He could make it. It wouldn't be the second weekend, but it would at least be the second to third game that they would play too. So, oh man, I hope that happens. We'll get to your chats in a second here, folks. Just real quick, want to go ahead and since we're talking about Arkansas, Missouri, and everything, let's give a little action to the Alumni Hall question of the day presented by Alumni Hall. It's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience, and a lot of you have talked about your time going to Alumni Hall and getting some of their great gear. They have it all. Razorback baseball's in full swing right now. They got jerseys, they got hats, they have all the basketball apparel too to get to the games. They got warm wear because it's cold outside, but they also have things that's going to get you ready for the springtime and the summertime and all of that. They have it all. So you got to check them out today by shopping them online at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall. That's insidearkansas.com/alumni hall, or you can shop them in store at 3417 North College Avenue. It's Alumni Hall. Very simple question, Curtis, and then we'll get to the chat. How do you feel, or I guess I should say, how confident are you that the Hogs will beat Missouri in Bud Walton Arena tomorrow? Because we talked about our confidence level, a little shaky. As of right now, the choices being very confident, not very confident, and Hogs have no chance. 55% of you say not very confident. So over half of you say not very confident in Arkansas beating Missouri. 24% of you say you are confident that Arkansas is going to beat Missouri. 12% say Hogs have no chance, and 9.4% say very confident that the Hogs win.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like under normal circumstances, it would be a no-brainer to say confident, because it used to not matter who came to Bud Walton Arena. Like you would always feel good about your chances, but my goodness, man, with the way that they've played in that building, I can't go there. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I've got to be in the not very confident category or whatever it was. I think I've got a chance. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. I hope that they do it, but have they really given us a reason to feel great about it happening? Not just with the way they play at home, but the way they just kind of battle and put themselves in positions against these really good teams, and they can't get across the finish line. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably be in the not very confident. If I had to put like a percentage meter on it, I feel like I'm higher than what that statement suggests, though.
Yeah.
Like I might be like 49-51, like 49. I think Arkansas can get it done. 51, they don't. I really think it's going to be a completely different game than what we saw in Columbia.
Yeah. I guess I just have a bad feeling altogether. I'm like, it's weird. I'm like 70-30, like 70% feel like Arkansas is going to lose. So and I love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. And apparently, according to Missouri fans, I'm always wrong about the Arkansas-Missouri game. So maybe this is when it flips on its head a little bit. But we'll get into the luggage story, folks. We will get into the luggage story. We got to go through a few chats, and we'll get to it. I honestly, truly didn't. I thought it was kind of a joke, like as in a throwaway segment. I was like, I'll talk about it. I did not realize how many people want to listen to this and hear about it. But it is a crazy story. It is a crazy story, so I am looking forward to it. But shout out to our guy, Quinn, presidential Auburn fan. Really appreciate you, Quinn. Appreciate the super chat. Says, Arky Kentucky rematch in the round of 32 would be nuts. Listen, I'm not getting mad at you, Quinn, because you may just not know. This is just a personal thing. I hate the term Arky. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if it was on purpose. Probably not, but just know it's a triggering word for me. Okay. But yes, it would be nuts.
Do you think they get mad when we say, when people say Aubie?
I don't know. Maybe Quinn can tell us. I don't know. Arky is just for historical purposes. It was always Okie and Okie for Oklahoma. Arky is just kind of I guess a negative connotation to it, but that's just me. I mean, maybe other Arkansas fans don't care, but Arky's always just been one of those terms that bother me. I don't know why.
I do need to give Quinn a shout out, I guess, because he was doing the thing before the game against Auburn. He was like, Auburn really needs to win this game by a ton because I want them to keep their number one spot in KenPom. And I was like, dude, you're an idiot. They're going to keep their number one spot at Kim Palm no matter what. No, they didn't. Duke passed them, and that's Arkansas's fault. So, Quinn, you were right about that one, man. So credit to you for that. And what we need your boys to do is get that convincing dub over Georgia. Like help us out a little bit and blow out Georgia. And then we can feel a little bit better about where Arkansas is at regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and this is a good point about your Aubie comment. I didn't realize this either. Clay says, considering they have a mascot named Aubie, I doubt it bothers him. That's true. I didn't realize their mascot was named Aubie.
Yeah, I don't care what their mascot is. So that's why I didn't know. But that's relevant information there that I appreciate for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I think someone asked me, could you name all like 16 mascots for SEC teams? I'm like, no, I can make maybe 2 or 3 at the best. I think there's like Big Al is Alabama, of course, Big Red for Arkansas. And I guess Aubie now. I know that one now. So.
Yeah. What do they call the Texas A&M guy?
I wish I could.
They have a mascot, or is it just the yell leaders?
I think it's just the yell leaders. Oh, they got the live mascot, the dog. That's dumb.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. A few other chats here. Finch says, I'm so confident that I just turned down 2 lower bowl seats at $50 each because I didn't want to drive 5 hours on one way. If you're telling me there's a chance type of game. Okay. Well.
Okay.
I mean, I understand 5 hours is a long time. If it was like 2 or 3, I could be like, 5 hours, that's a good hike. So hopefully the crowd is. So somebody asked actually that I meant to start it. Oh yeah, right here. Jeff says, what do you think the atmosphere will be like at Bud on Saturday? I'm hoping good. Like, I never know, man. I'm just hoping good.
I think it'll be, I think I'm guessing good, not great. Should be a pretty good crowd. I wish it was a midday. I really do.
Yes. Me too.
But 7:00, it's not crazy late. I'm guessing it'll be not a completely packed crowd. It's not. I don't think it's going to be as good as Alabama. I think it might be a little better in Oklahoma. That's where I'm going.
Okay, and I think that would be fair.
Second best of the year.
Yeah, I think that would be fair because there's going to be some people that are still like scared off by weather and whatnot. So that'll just be part of it. Hopefully, it doesn't happen too much, but yeah, we'll have to see. Spencer's over here saying my 2 teams going at it. Unfortunately, I think Miz wipes the floor. His 2 teams is Arkansas, Missouri.
Well, I didn't know that Arkansas was one of them. I've seen Spencer in here the last several days and just haven't had an opportunity to bring up one of his chats. Like I see you. I just want you to know that we've got a Mizzou and apparently Arkansas person in here, but has not been one of the, like rude trolley types at all. He's just, he's let it be known that he's got some Mizzou allegiances, but I just want to let you know, I see you, man. I see you.
Yeah, we see you there. Okay, appreciate Quinn. Another super chat.
Okay.
He says, our mascot is named Aubie, so we don't care. Okay. We hope to win by 20+ over Georgia. We don't like Georgia. For you, John, on here, I'll say Arkansas. Anywhere else, I'll say the shortened version.
That's fair.
Okay.
He'll refer to him as Arkansas when he's on the Arkansas podcast, but he's going to say Arky to everyone else. I think that's fair. We've got to accept that.
Yeah. It's like, you can insult me, just don't let me hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it to my face. So, but yeah, appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. I mean, we've done it long enough. We've teased the people long enough. I even made a graphic for it. I even made a graphic for this stuff. And I want everybody to know, first off, for those of you who like reached out to me about when I was posting about all this stuff, giving me advice or giving me things to do, I do appreciate it. Like, because it's not something I've ever experienced before, and getting some ideas from people that have experienced stuff like this has helped and everything. And also, before I get started in this story, I want everyone to know that this is not stuff that I'm being exaggerating on or dramatic, because I have Curtis Wilkerson right there, who was a part of the entire process of what the crazy madness was yesterday. So this isn't something that's just, oh, you're doing this for the story. No, all of this is 100% true and can be collaborated with Curtis's testimony. So I want everybody to know that.
I'm on the stand.
I know. I have to tell that because it is that ridiculous. It is that absurd of what happened. So for those of you who don't know, quick recap. We went to Kentucky on a United flight. On our way back, United lost my luggage. My luggage was nowhere to be found. I had to call them every single day. Last time it was seen it was checked and scanned with United Airlines in Lexington. That was the last time it was seen. I kept calling and calling and calling and calling. Nothing. I filed a claim for all of my stuff that was in there. And all the stuff in there was my podcast equipment, my clothes and everything, costing close to $5,000 worth of equipment. And so it was very important. That's why I'm holding this stupid stick mic and have been, because that's it. So that happened. I had to file a claim and I just had to wait. The process takes forever. Well, the day of the Auburn game on Wednesday, right before the Auburn game, I finally get an email from United giving me my claim and saying, we processed this and we are not responsible for pretty much anything in your bag except for your clothing and your toiletries. I mean,
That's a long list, man.
Yes. Like all of it. They have this long list in their fine print. They're not responsible for anything. So instead of giving you $5,000, we're giving you $1,200. And I lost my mind. I sent him an email back that was extremely aggressive. And I went on to social media because I was just so livid at the fact that somebody could lose my luggage. I pay for somebody to transfer my luggage and they just lose it and just shrug their shoulders like, say, sorry. Like, we have these things that we don't cover. Why? Why don't you cover them? Like, if you told me, like, hey, in your bag, which I know they have these policies written down because people are like, well, you can just read the writing. No. If you had a policy that's be like, hey, we don't like taking equipment, or we don't like you having equipment or audio equipment or whatever in your check bag because of what could happen to it or whatever, I can understand that. But I'm like, that bag, it shouldn't matter what's in it as long as it's not impacting the flight, as long as it's not impacting anybody else, and as long as it's under the weight of which you agree to, you should be responsible for it regardless of what's in there. And that was my whole point in everything. I'm not asking for, a free private jet and round trip, although that'd be pretty cool. I was asking to have my stuff returned. That's all I wanted, like my livelihood. I just wanted that back. And they sent that email out, and I was infuriated. I sent them all of that stuff, and it just, again, I was just beside myself. I was so pissed off about everything. Well, that was Wednesday. We get back, and me and Curtis just, had, I don't know how many things we recorded that night, but we had a lot of recordings. And we get to bed at like 2 a.m. and we wake up early because we're going to be driving back yesterday all the way from Auburn to Fayetteville. It's about a 9.5 hour drive, with the weather and everything. So on our way back, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to call the airport at Lexington and just see if something has come up, if something has happened. And some of you may be like, stupid idiot, why didn't you do that in the very beginning? Well, here's the difference. I tried to, but you're not allowed to talk to United employees or people that work there with United. You can talk to the general guy, but you can't talk to anybody specifically from United. And also, I was told by United that they were constantly calling and trying to get a hold of somebody, and they couldn't. So that's why I didn't do it in the first place, because I couldn't get a hold of anyone United, even if I tried. But anyways, there's this nice guy, and this, and I cracked up with Curtis. This is when it's a small airport, because a guy picked up the phone as soon as I called the airport. Folks, I went on Google and just looked up the Lexington airport, called the main line. There was no automated system like, oh, press 1 for this. No, just a guy picked up. It's like, Lexington Airport.
Hello.
Like, wow. Yeah, it's just like, hey, what's up? I mean, is that like small? And he was so helpful. And I just told him my situation. He goes, man, that goes through United. But I tell you what, give me your name and your number and what the bag looked like. I'm going to walk it over there to the United desk and see, maybe they found something. I'm like, hey, thank you. You've been more helpful than United has already. And so that happened. And then I went ahead and took my claim of money of $1,200 from United, even though I was going to make sure I got it all. But I took that claim and got that money. And that was kind of that. And I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to continue to figure this out. Once I get home and settled in, I'll figure that out. Well, then we get into the state of Arkansas, and we stop at a very fine Taco Bell in Earl, Arkansas. I believe it was Earl. And we had to make a stop there real quick. And I was just sitting there on my phone, and I get notifications like crazy on stuff. And I don't really check Facebook very often, but I got a notification that I got a Facebook message from a guy named Andrew. Now, I'm not going to give out his full name or anything like that, because I don't want to do that. But I get a Facebook message on my John Neighbors Facebook page from some random person. And all it said was simply this. And again, this is where the turn gets crazy, folks. It says this. Crazy question, but do you happen to be missing a red suitcase? My response was, why, you ask? Because you have to understand, folks, like the trolling I got of Kentucky fans, the trolling I get in general from people, somebody saying this and somebody seeing my post on Facebook, because I went crazy. I declared war against United on social media as well as on our stream. So I put this out. I was like, why do you ask? Because it's like, are you trying to mess with me, or you being a jerk or whatever? His next response is, I work for Allegiant and found some John R. Neighbors on a bag with some equipment. Now, reminder, folks, we flew United, not Allegiant. And this guy says, I work for Allegiant, found some John R. Neighbors on a bag with some equipment. And I'm like, are you trolling me or are you being serious? Because I'm like, there's this random guy who says he found this equipment with some and all this. And I'm just like, this is stupid because I posted it on social media. I'm like, this is so dumb. His response was simply this: serious. Folks, that's my bag, by the way, for those of you wondering. That's my bag. I got a Facebook message from a guy who just happened to find this bag. He works in Allegiant in Lexington. And he found me on Facebook and sent me this message and was like, hey, is this yours? This is yesterday after this is all happening. Boom, 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 boom. And I remember Curtis gets in the truck and I'm like, Curtis, and I show him that and we're like, there's no way. There's just no way. So kind of fast forwarding a little bit, obviously I freaked out. I'm like, yes, that's my bag. Like I had so many questions. Dude was awesome. Shout out to Andrew for doing this. Not my Ellis, the other Andrew, but shout out to Andrew for.
Shout out to him too. But
yeah, him too. We'll talk to him later, but for other reasons. But I end up having that happen and like talk, and I was like, okay, so he gets my information. He's like, yeah, I'm going to bring it to the United desk, and we'll get it all squared away and get it to you. And I'm just still so floored. Well, I ended up responding with a message after that, saying how I was appreciated and appreciative of him and how he did that and everything. I was like, man, can you just tell me, like, where did you find this bag? Because I was told it was lost and it was in Lexington and it just popped up randomly like 3 weeks later. What happened? Well, apparently the story is so absurd that he calls me because I gave him my information, my phone number. He personally calls me and I got him on speakerphone with me and Curtis driving. Nice guy, nice kid, and really helpful. But he's like, hey, man, I saw your message. I just wanted to call and explain it to you because I wanted to give you a rundown of what happened, or at least from there. He says he has the one thing that he couldn't explain, and I don't think anybody knows still, and we'll never know. He has no idea how Allegiant ended up with the bag. No clue. Like me and Curtis and Andrew saw that bag, my bag, get tagged with a United tag. We saw it. And somehow it got put into the Allegiant side of things. It had no tag on it, baggage tag. So they put a tag on it because they only went to, 3 places, Curtis, from Lexington to like Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. Orlando.
The same place twice, but
yeah, pretty much. So they put a tag on it and just sent it to Florida because it had no United tag, had no Allegiant tag, no nothing, but it was given to Allegiant. It was with Allegiant, so they put a tag on and sent it. Well, they sent it down there. They get a phone. They call back. They're like, hey, we got this bag. This is no one's bag. Like no one claimed it or whatever. What do you want us to do with it? You want us to send it back? Well, then they look it up. They're like, yeah, we have no John Neighbors on our systems. There's nobody that's flown with Allegiant on that. We have no idea. So yeah, we don't really want it. And then they ended up like sending it back, I guess, to Lexington. What was the alternative? Curtis sending it to Vegas, to the headquarters,
to the Allegiant Lost and Found, man. Yeah, headquarters where it just stays unless someone calls Allegiant and says, "Hey, I lost this bag," and you identify it. Which there's no way in hell you ever would have even considered trying to do.
No, not even a thought in my mind. So apparently it gets sent back to Lexington. They get it, and they're like, we have no idea where this is at or whose this is or what this is. We have no clue. So Andrew says that the bag's sitting up and he leaves it and he comes back and it's gone again. And he says that it got put back on another flight to Orlando. Just because, hey, I guess somebody probably saw it. And he's like, we got to put this back one out and throw it back to Orlando because that's the only way we fly. So it must need to go there. And so they send it back. They call again. They're like, hey, we don't have anybody for this bag. We send it back. So he sends it back, and it's now back in Lexington. So it flew to Orlando and back to Lexington 2 different times. And it gets back. And also, folks, for those Allegiant only flies Thursdays and Sundays. So the bag was sitting, they would fly to, I guess, Orlando on a Thursday, sit there until Sunday, and then gets flown back to Lexington, and they would sit from Sunday to Thursday again. So just hanging out. And it gets finally sent back. And then Andrew talks about how he has the bags and all that, puts it to the side. He leaves, he comes back, and it's gone again. It's gone again. So he's like, what? And then he looks around and he sees a United worker with my bag bringing it back and giving it back to him. He's like, hey, what did you take that bag for? And the guy goes, well, we had this report of a bag that went missing here that fit this description of this bag, but this is an Allegiant bag. Like no, it's not ours because we're looking for one that was United. And I was like, my jaw, you cannot get off the floor. I am just so impressedly, but also like shocked by all of this. And so, yeah, because Curtis, you're going to start highlighting comments because I know there's going to be a lot.
I am.
Yeah, correct. So he tells me that. And so then they sit it back and nothing really happens. Now, again, the tag, folks, does not have, it doesn't have the right stuff. It's an Allegiant. It's even a different colored tag. Like they're not even just both black and white. I think he said one's blue and white. It's just completely different. So he's like sitting there and he looks at this bag. And then this is what happened. And I assume it was just yesterday. On top of the bag, he sees those little stickers that they post and put on the bag. He sees it and he's like, that says John R. Neighbors on the sticker. Because the other stuff just said, oh, send it, and didn't have a name on it because no one knew who it was, but they saw the little sticker. So I'm not going to out him, but he was like, probably shouldn't have done this, but I went on Facebook and I wanted to see if I could find out who's John R. Neighbors and see if I could get him back his luggage. And he found my social media post because of my rant about United and losing my luggage, to which he DM'd me that, to which now I have my luggage. Or I don't have it yet. It's on the way. But
yeah, knock on wood, buddy.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I could get lost again. But it's on its way. I was so thankful for it. But a few other things I followed up. I was like, how does this happen in Kentucky and in Lexington? And he just goes, dude, we never lose luggage, because he's like, we got one luggage conveyor in the entire place. He's like, just one. We have one place that it goes. There's only one place that it can go. We only have 2 or 3 flights going out every day. Like, just the odds of it happening. And apparently everyone knew about it too in the entire airport, because it's such a small airport that everyone's like hanging out and friends and knew all about it. And he went to the United. When he brought my bag to the United people, this is how small it is, folks. When he brought my bag to United, he was like, hey, are you missing a bag for John Neighbors? The lady immediately goes, yes, he checked in with 2 other guys. So you're telling me an airport worker who, usually would check in a ton of people, remembered us. And now they're looking for that bag and they found it and it's getting sent back, and it's going, again, on its way reportedly. But if he wasn't the guy that sent the message that went to that, my bag and my luggage would have never been found, and I would have had to just deal with it and had to go through this whole wrong rigmarole with United and everything. But I know it's a lot of talking, a lot of all that stuff. But man, it's one of the most insane things I've ever seen and ever witnessed and experienced in my life. I just cannot believe it. So that's my luggage stuff.
Whatever happened to see something, say something?
Yeah.
In an airport. I mean, the bag was just this random bag, untagged. Nobody knows,
Yeah.
It's unreal. And the other funny part about it to me is, like, because I know he said that, obviously they opened it up to see if there were any identifiers, like any names or anything like that. But even after that, it sounds like it made another trip to Florida and back before somebody went, oh, here's this sticker on the top of the bag that, has a name on it or a way to identify it or whatever. It's just insane.
I know.
The whole thing is crazy. And listen, I know that we have probably, divided a lot of people on United, but our allegiance is with Allegiant at this point. I mean, it's just, I just think that's going to be the official airline of Inside Arkansas moving forward. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's where we're at, man.
They're heroes in my book. And I appreciate Andrew. I appreciate Allegiant. I appreciate everybody. Also at the Lexington airport. And I'll also say this. I'm still never going to fly United again. I am still upset with all this. Like, forget the luggage part. The screwing me over and screwing anybody over for just saying stuff is not covered is egregious and shameful. So I'm not going to get them up easy. But at least I know that they were actually trying to get people to find my luggage. Like, that makes me at least feel a little bit better. But it's, again, my luggage is not here yet. It should be on the way here soon, and it'll be back in my possession, and I'll have all my equipment back, hopefully in one piece and everything. But I just cannot believe that's the way it went down. And just, if it wasn't for this guy that was just like truly, looked at it and wanted to put forth the effort in trying to find me was incredible. Cause I'm not saying that this is how all people in his position would be, but there's so many people that be like, who cares? I don't care. Like, it's not my job to go find. I'm not trying to get somebody's luggage. This guy went above and beyond to try to get me my luggage. And if he worked for a completely different airline, like, that's just awesome. And I'm so appreciative of him. So hopefully I get my luggage here in today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It just depends on how many flights they can get it on, but he's giving me updates though. And he's continuing to give me updates on everything.
Well, that's good.
Thankful. So
that's a very good thing. Cause I was just sitting here thinking, what is Monday's intro going to look like when you're like, still no luggage?
Oh God, I don't even
it's not from point A to B. Like, it's got to get from B to C to D to E, which is your house. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna mix with that. But apparently, Andrew is watching the show, and he says, "Great story, man. I appreciate the shout out." Well, I appreciate you, Andrew.
He's elite.
Yes, you're the man, dude. And
he should be running that entire airport, honestly.
Man, he'd have my vote. He had my vote. And also, last thing, because I know there's a lot of people in the chat, because this is the story apparently. Last thing I'll say about it is that, when people go through stuff, and obviously it's very complicated and very tough to do all that. Sometimes maybe, but you got to give a lot of props for doing the right thing. And I'm even going to say it right now, because me and Curtis talked about it. If Arkansas goes to the NCAA tournament, and if they find their way into Lexington for that one of those regional sites, Andrew, we are going to take you out for a dinner and drinks of your choice anywhere you want to go, fully bought and paid for. Like, I owe you that at minimum for doing what you did. And so fly Allegiant, folks, fly Allegiant, and really appreciate the help there and getting my luggage back. And also too, the thing about what, he's kind of divulged some stuff of like how the process works and what goes all through it and everything. But to just know that, that the people there were still trying to find it, and how small of an airport it is and how small of a community it is. No one knows how my bag got from having a tag with United to not having a tag at all and going to Allegiant. So I am going to go ahead and assume, because it's a lot better of a story, that a Kentucky fan who works there saw it, ripped my tag off, and then just threw it somewhere and said, good luck, you jerk.
The dude who checked us in to the flight, he's never going to escape those allegations for me.
No,
maybe I'm framing the wrong man for the crime, but I don't know, man. I think it was him.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go ahead and assume too, because again, it makes for a better story. So just a really, really cool thing. All right, we'll get to your chats, folks. Because then again, I appreciate people listening to the story. Because I thought it was one of the most insane things and the most least expected things I could ever hear or experience. If my luggage could tell a story, man, it would fly. It would be a great one. But shout out to our guy Dre on the chat. Appreciate Super Chat says Fly Delta. Listen, I'll fly and we'll fly wherever we can get to the destination quickest and at the cheapest price and safely. So
as long as it's not United.
As long as it's not United, yeah. If it means paying an extra $100 or so to fly someone else, we will do that. We will make arrangements to make that happen. Our guy Quinn says that sounds like something that would only happen to you, John. Trust me, buddy.
No, seriously, man.
Yeah, like it's almost like people think, man, you got to create content. Sometimes content creates itself with me. I swear, and it's just part of it.
Well, and the most or part of the underrated aspect of this entire story is just, you're not a fan of flying in general.
Oh,
Like it stresses you out, man, for a lot of reasons, and the luggage being one of them. And it was funny, just the entire build up to that trip to Lexington. We were, talking about all the different possibilities and everything. And lo and behold, the whole trip went so smoothly until the end, and you're still dealing with it. So
I know.
crazy.
I know, man. It's insane. And it's the fact that I knew this was going to happen. Somebody with John's Luggage, our YouTube commenters, that it goes by John's Luggage, and uses the picture of my luggage.
Was it David that did this? I don't know.
Maybe. Not probably so. But he says, appreciate the super chat. He says, are you more triggered about your luggage or about the guy who used your gym membership for a year? The fact you remember that part and that whole thing was insane too. Definitely my luggage, because the gym membership was just weird. Because I apparently was just real quick story on that. I was living in Little Rock and I was trying to cancel my membership to a gym, and this was post COVID, and I just didn't go for a long time. And they're like, all this information, go through, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's not my name though. None of the information was correct except for my credit card that was being used. And yeah, some other person was just using my membership fully and was using and they just happened to put it on my credit card, and it was a mess. So yeah, definitely the luggage though. Definitely the luggage, man. Kingsley says John's Luggage went to Disney World. That game literally was their Super Bowl.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Very good.
That's went down to the Mouse House a couple of times. Apparently, enjoyed it so much they had to send it back. So, yeah. Also, Justo says, I thought that story was going to end like 5 times, and there was another twist. Haha, crazy. Exactly.
Insane.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing. Logan says, I'm going to miss the hand mic. I am not. The hand mic. I'm so sick of this thing. I'm sick of every time I want to talk, I got to make sure that if I'm having to, because I can't because during the show, I sometimes do live tweeting and I can't do that. And I have to put it down. And I got to pick it back up. There's a reason why no podcasters and radio show hosts and all that do this. There's a reason why, because it's not very convenient. I
mean, I had to hold one of those things for 2 days or whatever while we were on the trip, and I was already sick of it. So yeah, I know you're going to be happy to get that mic back, man, amongst everything else. But yeah, yes, put that thing down.
I know. I can't wait. I'm like, I may just give that suitcase a big old hug. And there's no telling what the condition and the stuff in there is going to be like, since it's been shipped all over the place. Just hoping that it's all in there and that it's all functioning and all of that. But B999 says, I'll be going live with John's Luggage later with the drop location for the money. Sheesh.
Ransom, man.
Yeah. I'd say we're getting into that. If that gets input into the story, it's just going to be another sequel for it. That's going to be wild. Unbiased Brim says, Cargo Runners did you greasy, bro. Big Boo Nation cargo team at United did it to you.
Unbiased Brim has been they're not sneaking anything by him, man. He's been all over it. He's dialed in on the situation, and I'm not even sure anything he's saying is a conspiracy theory. I think he's right about the conspiracy that was going on at Lexington Airport. There's just one good seed over there who did the right thing.
Yes, there is.
That's what I choose to believe.
I am too, because that story makes for the best turn of events, and it also makes the most sense. Like this from Transplanted Texas says, John's Luggage has more airline miles than John. It's sad. It's probably true. Close to it, at least.
Back and forth to Florida twice in a week.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I kind of wish I would have gone with my luggage. I could have gone down to Orlando and enjoyed it. That would have been nice. Also, Ryan says, so got the luggage back in $1,200. I don't know about any of that. Maybe something. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But so yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's as soon as my luggage gets back, I have to wait till my luggage gets back, and then we'll find out. But either way, that's the story. That's the story.
I will say now, this is interesting from Steven. He says you may want to start shopping the movie rights. I mean, I think there might be something to this. We've seen movies about lamps. We've seen movies about brave little toasters. Why not luggage, John? I'm just saying, we should hire somebody to write the script. Hell, I used to be a journalist. I could do it, and just see what could happen out of this. The money making potential is crazy. That's all I'm saying. They're starved for box office hits.
Dude, the fact that you brought up Brave Little Toaster, I haven't thought of that movie in years. I forgot all about it.
It's a classic film.
Yeah. Also, don't forget another classic, Homeward Bound. You know, the dogs and the cat that had to get home. They found their way. Yeah. Yeah. If this was in the 90s, it'd be a banger of a movie, apparently, because that's when all the lost items and people had the best movies made for it. So, man, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So, again, shout out to all of that, and appreciate everybody. And Dre even says, appreciate the super chat. He says, if United wants their $1,200 back, just say you mailed it and it got lost in the mail. Good point. Yeah, I can't find it. We kept calling them, trying to figure out where it went, and just couldn't show up for some reason. But,
maybe you guys should check Allegiant. I don't know. Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just say, but hey, instead of the $1,200, how about I just give you $20? All right.
Yeah.
It's a fair thing, because my policy doesn't cover all the money, just a little bit. But yeah. So, I'll be feeling so much better once it's here. But I know it's on its way. I know it's in Chicago, at least last I checked. And I was kind of hoping this is what the whole thing was. I was kind of hoping that during our show, the doorbell would ring, and
that'd be awesome.
My luggage, and then I could play some music. It'd be great.
And so you don't have to go pick it up at X&A. Like it's getting transported from X&A to your place.
Reports say. Yes, reports say.
That's another layer to this.
I know.
I'm nervous.
I know. I thought about saying, hey, I'll go pick it up. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to drive all the way up to X&A to get my luggage when they should just deliver it to me, especially because I have stuff to do. I have work to do and got to catch up from being gone and everything. And then I started thinking about, oh crap. It's like, maybe I should have just gone up and got it. Maybe that will happen. But yeah, either way, again, great story, crazy stuff. I can't wait to have it back. But rule of thumb, don't lose your stuff.
Important.
What's up? So glad we found the luggage, even if it means it took a couple trips to Florida.
Is that him?
Oh, that is him.
Is that the guy? Right.
I believe that is. Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Shout out to Michelle. She's just always on top of it, man.
I'm telling you. Here's the thing. I don't know Andrew's last name. So, but that is him now that I'm still looking at it.
Oh, so, there you go.
Yeah. And he said, he's texting me because this apparently was a thing, folks. Like, this is at the airport. They were wondering what was the bag. They were wondering the mystery because it's such a small airport.
Like, well, didn't he say later in the day, like after all this happened, that somebody at the airport had stumbled across your your post, like going off on United?
Yes. Like it was a big topic of discussion over there too. It was insane. It was insane. And he just texted me, said it should be at X&A at 22:30. So wait, like tonight, or did you mean like 3:30?
Yeah, 22:30 that'd be tonight, right?
Okay.
Unless he put an extra 2 by mistake or something.
Well, that's what I'm asking. He may have done that, but he says a personal driver will hand deliver the luggage.
There we go.
And says that there's a massive group of us watching here at the airport.
That's pretty good. Oh man,
dude. He said, okay, so 11 p.m. tonight is when at 11:30 p.m. tonight. Okay, thank you.
Gotcha,
thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. I will and maybe you can let me know, Andrew. I'm just asking questions to you. I'll stay awake and wait for it to get here, or is it something that I won't get here until tomorrow? Like, let me know on that. But
I bet it's tomorrow.
Yeah, probably so. This
is hilarious.
It's great.
I literally can't believe that I'm looking forward to going to Lexington again. There's so many crazy stories that came out of that trip, but I want to fly back to that airport so bad and just get the photo ops with you and the folks,
Yeah. Probably somebody that's going to remain in infamy there at the airport.
We've already decided that might be the easiest route to Dayton anyway.
Yeah.
So
because it's not easy to get
like an hour away or whatever.
Yeah. It's not easy for it for sure. So, but man, appreciate everything. And in fact, this is a perfect little segue because we know there's a lot of other things going on so we'll use it for your Arkansas update presented by Davis & Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, secure what matters the most. Let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself, Andrew Ellis, who is joining us now live from Arlington. What's up, Andrew?
What's going on? Do I sound good? Do I look good? Is my internet horrible?
So far, decent.
Okay, that's what we can hope for.
Everything's average
here at my undisclosed location, but you make it work. I'm like fresh off the road. So what all I missed? You talk about luggage, I assume.
Yes. Yep. Gave the whole breakdown and rundown of all what happened. So you'll have to go back and listen to it if you haven't heard it.
Nothing else has been talked about today is important. So.
Literally, like we tried to talk about basketball and about the games and everything, and the chat was just filled with, we only came here for the Luggage story. So had to give the people what they wanted.
I mean, it really is a pretty insane saga. I don't know if I've ever experienced anything like this, been a part of anything like this. I mean, I know people lose luggage and there's stuff like this all the time, but it's pretty crazy how it's played out, all the twists and turns. So hopefully United's not watching, but have we determined that you're going to take a reimbursement from them and then also get your luggage back? Is that kind of where we're at now? Is that where
you know, it's a hazy thing, you know, we'll see what happens, but yeah, we'll just take that one day at a time, and you know, we're on to the next thing. So yeah, but we'll find out. But either way, I'm sure that hopefully your travels to Arlington was a little bit easier than what our travels have been. How's the vibes down there for the college baseball series?
Well, I've been in Arlington for about 90 seconds total. I mean, just fresh out the car onto this stream. So haven't gotten a chance to take in the full vibes yet. Haven't been down by the park yet. Few Hog fans staying at this hotel. Got to see a couple in the lobby, which is always good. You know, the vibes were great on the way down. By the way, I was looking in the chat. So whenever I was kind of waiting to get on the show, I saw these people saying Andrew gets a raise and all this. And I thought I was going to be celebrated. Turns out the guy who gave you the luggage, his name is Andrew, right?
Yeah, it's tough scenes. Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, I saw Michelle say something about Andrew. I was like, I'm getting a raise. Like, I'm about to just pop up on the stream and this is going to be like this awesome thing. Turns out it's just the guy, right?
Yeah. It's just the guy, sadly. But, you know, hey, you do a good job too, man. You know, I'd like to think that if you found my luggage and you work for the airline, you'd reach out to me too.
Yeah, you might not get all of your stuff back, but you would get the bag back for sure.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. So yeah, man, just I know you're going to do bombastic and have all the content down there for college baseball series, but just how's the schedule look for the weekend for the Hogs and for bombastic?
I see 3 dubs on the schedule for the most part. That's the important part, but yeah, definitely as soon as the game ends. Well, I don't know about as soon as the game ends. We will get to talk to Dave on the field. So we'll get some of that. We'll get to hear the thoughts from the head hog, and then I'll scurry on back to the hotel and crank out. I mean, if it's an awesome game and people are really fired up, maybe I'll go live for it. But at the very least, you're getting just a post-game report video. And then tomorrow, same kind of thing. And then who knows? I might get inspired, and you know, if there's a legendary pitching performance like we saw last year, maybe it'll require a separate video. But yeah, we're just gonna be cranking out content, doing what we got to do, and watching 3 dubs. Celebrating 3 years of Andrew Ellis and Hillary Frank's love as well.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
congrats. Is Papacitos the anniversary dinner? Is that?
That's where we're going tomorrow.
Oh, okay,
no, sorry, that's where we're going today. Sorry, that's where we're going. Like as soon as I get off this, we're going to Papacitos.
Gotcha. All right.
Tomorrow, I don't even. What I'm doing is so cool tomorrow. I don't even want to say it publicly and don't want to say it out loud.
Good. I like that.
But let's just say we have a fun pregame activity planned.
Okay, perfect, man.
Okay.
Hey, based on like the timing, tomorrow's a night game, right?
Yeah, 7 p.m. tonight, 6 p.m. tomorrow is my understanding, and then 11 a.m. Sunday.
Well, here's the deal: when we're live for the Pod at the Palace post game, it's just going to be open for you to join whenever you want. I'm going to have a graphic ready, and we'll flip it to bombastic. If we've got to do a crossover post game to get your reaction, we'll freaking do it, because it could overlap at the same time. Like the basketball game's at 9, it'll be over 9:30 ish or whatever. So you know.
Well, I thought about that as well. The possibility that like both games are ending at the same time, because basketball, you kind of know when it's going to end. Baseball, you don't.
The second game was like 13 innings or something last year down there, right?
I was going to say last year that game, we had plans to go out. We had plans to do all this fun stuff. By the time the game ended, we were like, no, let's just go to sleep. Let's just be done. So hopefully the Saturday game doesn't have as much of a buzzkill vibe to it as last year. But I got to say, being back here, it does make me, you know, I like it makes me miss the Arlington trip that we had last year and all the fun that we had, and honestly makes me miss Scotty Bordelon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. So what's the weather like down there though? Is it like freezing cold or is it pretty nice?
Not freezing. I think like right as we were getting into Dallas, I was looking, and who knows how accurate the car temperature is, but it was like the whole way down there, it was like 20, 21. It was like slowly climbing. It got up to 34 whenever we got to Dallas. And so I think it's maybe a little bit warmer than that now. And so it'll be pretty cold tonight, but like tomorrow, it's going to be like a high of like 54, 55 or something like that. And from my understanding is the weather in Fayetteville is not going to be that bad this weekend either.
No, I think it's what Kerr said is like going to be in the. I know it's Monday; it's not the weekend, but even like Monday's going to be like in the upper 60s. So stupid stuff. Hopefully, gets the snow off the ground and everything here quickly too. So, yeah, and I got a very important baseball question for you, Andrew. A very, very, very crucial, important question. Your thoughts on the Yankees being able to have facial hair now?
Wait, is that a thing? What did I miss that?
Yeah,
properly groomed beards are now allowed.
I will read you the statement, Ellis. I wanted your thoughts as the baseball guy. They put this out there from Hal Steinbrenner. It says, in recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on the longstanding facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates to several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniform personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy.
So I thought the former policy was stupid. Like I always kind of thought it was weird that they couldn't have beards, couldn't have tattoos, any of that stuff. I feel like it's just a little weird, and the whole not having names on the back and all that. Like I get the premise, but I think it was always weird and definitely outdated. Now I'm kind of like on the other side where I think they're cowards for backtracking a little bit. Like I think if you're going to have a policy like that for literally hundreds of years, crossing generations. Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth are rolling over in their graves right now. Think about the fuzz they could have rocked if they had been allowed to back in the day. Think of how cool some of the coolest Yankees of all time would have looked if they had been able to do it. I actually think it's a slap in the face to the entire organization and the city of New York. But it's funny. Garrett Cole is nobody's. I mean, he's probably happy about it because now he gets to wear facial hair. Garrett Cole, if y'all remember when he was in Houston, was the most badass, intimidating pitcher on the planet. Had a good little neck beard going, had the long hair. He was so awesome. And then when he signed with New York, they neutered him. And his numbers have been substantially worse in New York. And so I bet he's excited about this, but he's kind of, I wonder if he was maybe part of it because it ruined all of his allure when he signed to the Yankees and shaved the facial hair and, just looked like a shell of himself. I wonder if maybe that's what made them think about it. Plus, you've got some eccentric players on the team, like Jazz Chisholm. I think he's still there. Like, I bet they probably were like, "Hey, we got to stop doing this."
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny that there's like some people have such a very strong take on this and like opinion on it. Like, this is what's wrong with baseball, and they just no one cares about traditions and all that. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if the Yankees had won like World Series over the past like 5 or 6 years, it probably wouldn't have changed it. But maybe they're just trying to change the vibes a little bit and get people in there. But yeah, I always thought it was a dumb policy too. Cause like, who cares what you look like as long as you can play? Sheesh, it'll work out.
Well, and just think the idea of we're all going to look the same and do the same thing. Like I get that. And I actually don't really hate that as a concept. I know people have been getting mad about Arkansas's basketball shoes. People out there with like the purple Kobe's on and stuff like that. And like part of me actually kind of agrees with them. But at the same time, we're in this era of individualism and these players expressing themselves. And like, I feel like there's room for you to be a team and still play as a team, live as a team and operate as a team, but while also being cool. And so it's cool. It's nice that the Yankees are starting to let their players be cool. But in my opinion, the Yankees can never do anything right. No matter what they do, I was gonna shit on it.
Did you see that who was it? Indiana is not able to wear their special Fear of God uniforms because of the close connection or relationship with Kanye West.
Really?
Like they came out and announced that they weren't going to wear them. They're about as ugly as the other Adidas uniforms that we were seeing last weekend with A&M and everything else. But yeah, they shut it down and put out a statement. It's like, we're not wearing these because Kanye.
What a way to stick it to anti-Semites by not wearing your cool uniform.
Yeah. That's what I was telling Curtis last night. I'm like, that sounds like somebody that wants to get out of the Adidas contract and wants somebody else. And they're just like, where's our out? Well, how do we do this? Well, sir, I believe that if I'm not mistaken, they've done something with Kanye West. Johnson, you're a genius. We're going to use that. We're going to say we take a stance against this and we can no longer support it because we cannot wear, like, you're not wearing a uniform because of the company that makes that uniform may have made shoes for a Kanye West guy who's gone insane. Like, just seems like it's a real stretch.
Well, and also, like, it was Kanye that it was Ye that was saying all the crazy stuff. It was Kanye that had the shoe deal. Like, I mean, there has to be, we have to draw the line somewhere. Like Glenn Jacobs cannot be held responsible for Kane's crimes,
Agreed. Yeah. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a politician now. So
yeah, he wouldn't be the mayor of whatever city in Georgia or in Tennessee or wherever.
Yeah. And I want to say, you were talking about people getting salty about the shoes, like the pink shoes or the turquoise shoes or whatever. That doesn't bother me as much as the new thing, which is going mismatch, like two completely different shoes on your left and right foot. That I'm just not there yet. I'm open to change and the evolution of things. That one I haven't caught on with yet.
Yeah, if you're not a punter or a kicker, you got to have the same shoes on.
Same shoes, man. Yeah.
All right, so let's keep it moving here, and let's look a little bit of what's going on this weekend with BetSaracen. It's the #1 sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. You get to betting at BetSaracen.com, or you can download it on your iPhone or on your Android. It's the only sports betting app you should ever download in the state of Arkansas because it gives you the best specials, especially with the Arkansas flavor and everything going along with it. So check it out at BetSaracen.com and download the app with BetSaracen. Yeah, they got a lot of specials. That's what's fun with the Arkansas specials, guys, is with Razorback baseball and basketball happening all in the same weekend. They got some good stuff there. But I'm going to ask you guys this. What type of hit do you think Arkansas gets first time at the plate? What's the first hit they actually get? A single, double, home run, triple, or no hits?
You're in a big park. I don't know. I'm tempted. What's the odds on home run? Is it better than 9-1? That's what it was last week.
Plus 1,000.
Oh yeah, you got to go ahead. 10-1 for a home run. Let's go ahead and do that.
The ball was flying out of there last weekend
in Arlington. Yeah, you see Jason Jones went viral.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, love to see that. But yeah, good for him for sure. He actually did that as a freshman when Arkansas was getting beat 14-2 by TCU. He hit a 119 mile an hour home run, 450, and that bought him the fan base's love for 4 months. But I like home run. I mean, especially because you look at some of the guys that are going to bat first for Arkansas, like Vahiva Loy hits second, Brent Iredale hits fourth, Rocco Pepe, who, by the way, that's a prop that I like. Rocco Pepe over 0.5 hits, over 0.5 runs, plus 150. Hogs facing a lefty on the bump today. This is the day Rocco Pepe gets it going.
Also, one that I kind of like to just for the fun stuff. Do you think Arkansas scores in the first inning? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I like them to score.
Okay. Yeah, they're plus 100 to score in the first inning.
Kansas State's starting pitching, and they played 5 games. Their starting pitchers have been yucky. The guy that's starting today, I don't think started for them last week. So it's one of those things where they're just trying to find anyone they can that can get outs. So I think they've been getting off to rough starts. Hell, they've given up 8 runs in every single game this year. So it's if Arkansas comes out of this game, even if they win and it's 4-2, it's going to feel very similar to last year in Arlington when we were kind of all looking at each other this team maybe can't hit.
Well, the last one for baseball, I'm curious what you guys think about this. For Arkansas to win against Kansas State, TCU, and Michigan, so to sweep down there in Arlington, plus 175.
I like it.
I mean, it just seems like easy money. I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
Easy money. Yeah. I mean, and I also just feel I think it's a 50-50 proposition. It's a 50-50 chance of whether or not Arkansas loses to TCU or they don't. Michigan's good, but I feel like Arkansas will get them. If you're getting plus 170 on something that's a coin flip, let's do it.
All right. So for basketball, there's some new ones because I know we could go through the same ones and they're pretty the same, but there's some new ones for basketball and some specials that I want y'all's thoughts on. Who do you think would be the player most likely to have a double-double against Missouri tomorrow?
Well, Big Z had one against Missouri the last time they played, but Thero seems like the safest bet for me.
I was going to say Chiro as well.
Yeah, so Adu Thero is at plus 400. Big Z's at plus 550.
Okay.
DJ Wagner's at plus 700. But, guys, I'm putting it down on the other. Carter Knox.
I thought he was going to go Trevor Brazil. Just stick to the bit.
No. I'm give me Carter Knox. Dude's been cooking from the field. He's going to have some points out there, and I think he ends up being a man on the rebounding stuff. And he gets that like a 13-10 game.
John, I love that you said that, man, because right before we started the show, I recorded the preview for tomorrow morning, and one of the things I went off on was Carter Knox. One, I said he's 9 of 11 in his last 2 games. He needs to take 11 shots, period, in this game. Start running some of that action for him, man. Why not? He's been red hot. But the one thing about Mizzou is they suck on the defensive glass. Like you can get them on the offensive boards. And it seems like Carter Knox does this thing where in the second half of games, he just goes crazy on the offensive glass. Like it's what won the game for him against Georgia. He's done that a handful of times now. 10 is a lot. I don't know if he's gotten more than 6 or so this year, but this would be an opportunity for President Carter.
Isn't it crazy that we've reached this point in the season where Carter Knox might be the most consistent and reliable Razorback in the lineup? Like, it is kind of just insane that we've gotten there. I'm going to ask you guys, do y'all think Carter Knox can go? Oh, let me make sure. Can he go at least 2 of 4 from 3? Can he make 2 and attempt 4?
Yes.
So.
Actually, he only has to attempt 3. I lied. Plus 135 is one of those SARACEN specials. Carter Knox over 2.5 3-point attempts, over 1.5 makes.
Okay. I'd probably sprinkle a little bit.
And I mean, with how, it's funny, is 2 for 3, I feel like is actually in play. Because like you mentioned, he shoots 4 or 5 shots a game and he makes most of them. He's 9 of 11. So it's like, I could actually see him going 2 for 3 from 3.
Let me throw this at you in SEC play, because we remember like in non-conference, we were watching Knox and sometimes it was cardio Carter, right?
Yeah.
And other times the dude was just getting wide open shots. He just couldn't make them. In SEC play though, for Carter, 46.5% from the field, it's very solid for a freshman. The dude is leading the Razorbacks in 3-point percentage in SEC play. Leading the team, 42.4%. He's got 14 makes. Now, Big Z's got 21 made threes. But after that, performance, if we want to call it that, at Auburn, he's down to 37.5. So your most accurate 3-point shooter in SEC play, Carter Knox.
Yeah. I crunched the numbers. I studied statistics in college, actually, and I crunched the numbers, and I learned that when you go 0 for 8 from 3, it doesn't help your percentages.
It's no matter how large the sample size is, if you have an 0 for 8, it's gonna drop you, man.
Yep.
Noticeably.
And last one, this again, just a new one, I think. If you guys were going to bet who's going to score the first points in the second half for Arkansas, who would it be?
Thero on that same lob play they run every game.
Plus 250 for Thero. Plus 350.
Other odds. I want to hear some of those because that's how I'm going to make this decision.
Yeah. Plus 350 for Nelly Davis. Plus 375 for Big Z. Plus 425 for other. Now, this is where it gets interesting for other. But for DJ Wagner, it's plus 550. And for Carter Knox, it's plus 600.
Wow. I think I can see DJ. I mean, especially because, again, we've talked about it. He's uncontested on every shot attempt he ever takes. I can see DJ scoring the first bucket.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that you have a better chance of having other instead of Wagner or Knox.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, but that was just a kind of a fun one to look at. But game's going to be happening tomorrow night at Bud Walton. Hopefully the crowd's there. I know we're going to be there, or at least me and Curtis will be. Andrew's going to be doing baseball, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Pot at the Palace and the Bombastic come together as one for post game. But that's again, it goes back to the whole thing. You know how great it would be if this basketball game was like 1 tomorrow.
I know, man.
And then
that's how it was last year, right? Remember, because we got to do the watch party and everything. I was thinking about that.
Cool was that, by the way? Yeah.
That's also a good omen. I mean, obviously, there's a very different Missouri team, but I kind of like that. Arkansas is playing Missouri again the day that they're in Arlington.
Yeah, no exaggeration. That when we did that watch party there out at Texas Live, I can't remember the name of that barbecue joint, but there was 50 plus Razorback fans out there watching that game with us. That was really cool. It was one of my favorite moments of the previous regime.
Yeah. Seeing
of the BVLH era.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Of all the highlights. That was fun. And that was also I think the weather was really perfect too. It was one of those days that everything just came together. So, and Arkansas won the basketball game against Missouri. That was the game that I think they lost in baseball, right? To Oklahoma State, right?
Oklahoma State. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was frustrating in extra innings. So, but yeah, that was good. So yeah, get after a BetSaracen, folks. If you want to get to betting and winning, and especially with all the Razorback events that are going on right now, be sure to check them out again at BetSaracen.com. And also a little bit of SEC update presented by Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com. Use promo code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your first purchase. I just wanted to bring really up the bracketology more so than anything. We'll get to some of the games too. But as of right now, just looking at Joe Lenardi, I know there's other places too, but 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds are SEC teams. He still has Auburn as number 1, Alabama's number 1, and Florida as number 1, with Duke also as number 1. So There was a time when SEC would only get 2, maybe 3 teams into the tournament, and now they're going to have more than likely 3 number 1 seeds in the tournament. Amazing how things have changed.
I wonder, wait, who did you say the 3 1 seeds were from the SEC?
Auburn, Alabama, and Florida.
Okay, still got Alabama in there. Okay.
Florida's earned that, man.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, Florida for sure.
Yep. And then other SEC teams of note and where they have Ole Miss as a 6 seed. They also have, of course, Arkansas as an 11 seed. Kentucky as a 3 seed. They have also, kind of going through this in a probably a very unorthodox way, Texas is at a 9 seed. They've moved up to a 9 seed there. Mississippi State's moved up to a 5 seed. Missouri's a 5 seed. You also have Texas A&M as a 3 seed. They moved down. Vanderbilt is an 11 seed, a play-in game also. And then Tennessee is a 2 seed. So
if you're wondering why Arkansas keeps losing games and we keep doing this thing where we're like, hey, we feel good about their chances here of getting in the NCAA tournament, it's because Texas is a 9 seed right now. Like that Texas team with that resume is safely in. And they were right there with Arkansas a few days ago, and they beat half of Kentucky's team in their home arena. And now look at them. It's like they're invincible. They're safely in there. That's why this game for Arkansas is so important tomorrow, that you get one of those big time wins. And I really think they're going to be right up there in the same type of conversation. Maybe not all the way up to a 9, but like safely off of that, last 4 in nonsense. And maybe they could even push up towards a 10 seed.
Another thing that helps is Oklahoma is just in full-on self-destruct mode. Like every time they get on the court, they do something stupider than the last time. Arkansas didn't even have to beat them. I mean, obviously, that's the game that we still would like back. We'd feel a lot better if Arkansas had won that. But it's like crazy that's not even going to end up being a factor because Oklahoma just is in downward spiral mode. And Porter Mosier's wishing he was in DePaul right about now.
Yeah. Well, I was also looking at Texas' schedule, which the rest of the way, and I'm not saying it's easy because there's no such thing as an easy SEC schedule, but man, it's about as easy as you could ask. They have South Carolina tomorrow. They play Arkansas, which, as Arkansas, we believe they'll win, but then they play Georgia, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma. Like that's their final stretch. So, if they can't win at least 3 of those games, they for sure, that's pretty bad and they don't deserve to be in it, but yeah, it's about an easy stretch as you could ask for that. So yeah, quite a few teams there, I guess. So there's 12 teams in the SEC that are currently into the NCAA tournament at this point in time. Sucks to suck there. So we have that. And then also a few other games of note that are going to be going on in the SEC tomorrow. Of course, the Razorbacks having a late game against the Missouri Tigers, but also how about a little morning action of top 10 teams? Tennessee, Texas A&M in College Station. BetSaracen has Tennessee, though, favored by 1.5 on the road.
I don't know why you would do that early when people were still trying to wake up. That's going to be one of the worst basketball games to watch, to the point that I won't. I'm not watching that game. That's not a brand of basketball that excites me at all.
To be fair, there's a lot of SEC teams that kind of fit that criteria.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll probably have.
I think those 2 take the cake.
Yeah. It'll be one of those games. I probably like waking up, getting after it a little bit. And it'll be on one of the TVs on the side on mute. Be like looking up a little bit. Be one of those types of games in the mornings. Is
that the worst top 10 matchup ever?
It might be up there, man.
That is the worst. You see number 6 versus number 7. You're like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. Like that's a cool, but it's like that is going to be an absolute stinker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then at noon, you got Mississippi State and Oklahoma. That game's getting played in Norman. But here's what's crazy. Mississippi State's only favored by 1.5 in this game, according to BetSaracen. They're coming off a win against A&M, which say what you want about A&M, but they smoked them. And Oklahoma's doo-doo, as you mentioned. Only 1.5 on the road. Man, I'm sprinkling some on the Christians.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is that Oklahoma's at home and as desperate as one could be, like this would be their, like all this self-destruction talk. If they go out there and beat Mississippi State, that would probably get them right back in that mix where, probably on the right or at least close to the right side of the bubble. And so maybe Vegas is expecting like a letdown for Mississippi State, which honestly I can see the argument for, but the argument stops when you start actually considering how good Oklahoma is at basketball and that their best player's father is out there tweeting, where should my son play basketball next year? Did you see that, Curtis?
Yeah, that's insane, man. Yeah, I have a hard time with, and you're right about everything you said, and it would be a classic Mississippi State thing to do to go lay an egg there in Mississippi State or in Oklahoma. But yeah, like it's an Oklahoma team that's lost 5 in a row by like an average of 21 points a game or something. So I don't know. I think I'd probably stick with the Bulldogs there.
Yeah. You got Auburn and Georgia. That game's being played in Auburn at 3:00 on ESPN. 17.5-point favorites there for Auburn, according to BetSaracen. You got Florida LSU at LSU. Florida's favored by 9.5 points at 5 p.m. on SEC Network. Then ESPN has Kentucky and Bama. This game been played in Tuscaloosa. Bama favored by 7.5 points, according to BetSaracen over the Wildcats.
What time is that game?
Game's at 5 p.m. on ESPN.
Okay. Yeah. Right before.
So we can check it out, which, by the way, folks, real quick, I'm going to mention this. We're not doing any content, but if you guys are looking for a cool place to go and pregame before the Razorback basketball game tonight, there's a new Mexican restaurant, El Mezcal, off the square. Me and Curtis are going to go check it out. It's just still in the opening stages, but it's National Margarita Day tomorrow. So, it's a good spot to do it, and big Razorback fans over there. So me and Curtis are going to be hanging out. So if you're looking for a great spot for the game, head over there. We're going to be there and right there off the square, brand new spot right there on Center Street. Also, the final game of the day at 7:30 on SEC Network, Texas, South Carolina. So there you go.
Is this the one?
Is this the one? Please let it be the one. We need them to win one.
Yeah.
And also too, we'll get to some of your chats kind of as we get closer to closing up shop. But since we're talking about college basketball, and Curtis, I know you shared this with me about the Joe and Ari talking about the bracketology, but the Kansas stuff, man, and Bill Self, like it could be historical, this NCAA tournament for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, they're going through it, man. And it's one thing to lose some games or whatever. Like, I mean, it just that kind of happens to everyone, right? Like they lost to Utah, for example, and you're thinking, yeah, that's kind of weird, probably shouldn't happen, but whatever. Like you're in a strange place and you drop a game, okay. But to get beat 34 by BYU, that is absolutely insane. And they're dropping fast. I don't know what he has them projected at right now, Lenardi, but as he says on his update, that Kansas under Bill Self has never been worse than a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And
they're like clinched that, right?
Yeah, and that's 20 consecutive trips.
Yeah, they're 7 seed, by the way, according to Lenardi right now.
Okay. I don't even know how they could play their way back into the top 4 seed at this point. So yeah, he's making history for all the wrong reasons, and to the point where, because last year they slipped late down the stretch, they still wound up having a decent seed, but they who was it, Gonzaga, I think, that popped them maybe in the second round or whatever. But they had done that thing where they won so many Big 12 regular seasons in a row, and now they're just really falling apart. And people are doing wouldn't surprise me if Bill Self just hung it up at the end of this year. Like it's to the point where Bill Self is getting retirement allegations. He's not even as old as Cal. I think he's only like 61 or 62. It's crazy.
Did Arkansas preemptively break Kansas?
I think so. I think it was
the worst number 1 team, Arkansas, because Arkansas played like 6 games against the number 1 team in the country. That had to be the worst one, right?
Probably, but
I think so.
Yeah, that might be the reason for it. Arkansas is really good at that. They never win anything big themselves, but they always retire other coaches early or get them fired or something. They're really good at that. So, but yeah, that would be crazy if Kansas ended up being that way, because yeah, it's just, you don't really, I know that they've been good. We all know they've been good, but when you put in the perspective of never being worse than a 4 seed it's pretty insane. Like, I mean, even the greatest of blue bloods, like the Dukes, they've had some downers. North Carolina, some downers. So everybody has had some downers, but Kansas just been a constant machine for 20 straight years. Yeah. There are 20 consecutive trips. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Also, I meant to bring this up in the Arkansas update real quick, but just a reminder, folks, Razorback basketball tomorrow. They're celebrating the 1990 Final Four team. So I'll be curious to see who's all in attendance from that 1990 team. You know, the 1990 team of Nolan Richardson and also Todd Daly, Mayberry, Big O. So they're pretty good.
Yeah. Cool.
What's that?
That'll be cool.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think Mike Anderson will be there? I think we asked that question maybe. But do you think Mike Anderson will be there?
I didn't see his name on the list, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, he's not doing. What's he doing right now?
True. Collecting money. I hope. Just chilling. I mean, he got done dirty by St. John's, but
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
I hope he shows up.
I do too. I mean, he got a great deal, or great like I think he did a good job at Arkansas, and he's still beloved. So hopefully he's there, and he's already got a great what was I trying to say? The great applause that he had when he returned, like soon after he was fired. I mean, it was like the when they decided to put Nolan Richardson's name on the court, he was there. So all right, a few chats. Hey, congratulations to SCT. It's like, we have a baby, fellas. So
Where did he say he was at yesterday? We were listening to your show.
Where
He was
was-
at,
I think he said
Mojitos.
it was
yeah.
yeah, and it was like, it was one of the mojitos. He was like, I'm just sitting here waiting on the wife to go in labor. I'm like, what are you doing? But hey, I respect that. Respect the grind that he's tapped in on the Bombastic podcast while his wife is pushing out baby number 2.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep. Congrats, SCT. Even though you don't
Named
like
her Peyton Stovall, he says.
Love it.
little Miss Peyton Stovall. With a what's it called? A tilde over the A, whatever that is. How do you? Did he mean to do that?
I don't know if he meant to, but we'll just call that an accent.
Yeah, an accent, whatever it is called. Yeah. So congrats though. Razorback Hog says we have an El Mezcal and Little Rock. Is that the same business? Yes, actually. Well, it's like it's different, like people who run it, obviously, but the ownership, yeah, it's the same spot, which is why I was so excited about it, because I lived in Hillcrest in Little Rock for 4 years, and El Mezcal was in Hillcrest, and I went there all the time. So when I saw that they were having one on the square, I was pumped about it. So, but yeah, I went over there and checked it out. They got a really cool spot. They're going to have street taco set up. They're going to have a patio out there. I mean, it's really going to be a great place and great vibes, and plenty of TVs too. They even have a little loft thing. I mean, they got a really cool spot. So yeah, we're excited about it. So yeah, National Margarita Day I hear is important. So come over there to El Mezcal, the new one off the square in Fayetteville. Logan says, should Ty Day have his jersey retired? Man.
Yes, but only if they hang it upside down.
That is
if Terrence Shannon can have his, and I don't know if they retired the jersey, but they just hung it up in the rafters or whatever. But if he can get that a year removed from an Elite Eight or something, then yeah, take care of Todd Day in some way.
Yeah, but I just don't think you can retire number 10, because there's just been
you can't retire it. Yeah,
yeah. Like that, it would be one thing if it was just like that guy, but you're thinking about Todd Day, Bobby Portis, Daniel Gafford, Jalen Williams, Ron Brewer, Ronnie Brewer. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of great number 10s. And obviously Todd Day is the best of the 10s, but I don't know. I just still feel like there's way too many Razorbacks that have worn that number to, have officially retired by one. It's
you kind of missed the boat now. Also, it's similar to with McFadden 5, where like now there's been so many people wear number 5. Are you retiring it because Tremaine Thomas wore it? It's like it's kind of almost too late.
Tremaine Thomas could have gone Rakeem Boyd, could have gone Rocket Sanders.
We're gonna make Cam Ball on another single-digit number for his defensive line ass.
Con Cam Ball. I just love the Tremaine Thomas, man. That's a
hero of the Liberty Bowl in 2009.
That's right, the pick 6 guy. Yeah, he was solid. Was he a cornerback or a safety, or kind of like a combo? I think he was a safety. Yeah, I think he was a safety.
All SEC safety, I think, actually. Maybe it was like his senior year. Maybe it's a different year, but he was actually one of the better number 5s since McFadden, I would argue.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, a few other things here before we wrap up shop. Did you guys watch the USA and Canada hockey thing last night at all?
I was paying attention. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't want to spend too much, because I know like there's a lot of people don't like hockey. I don't like hockey. I don't watch hockey. I'd love to go to a game, and it's not that I don't respect it. It's just doesn't do it for me. But everyone was talking about it on social media, and I like big events. I'm like, well, if everyone's talking about it, I'll turn it on. I turn it on. It was actually really intense and fun. I don't know what it was about, like as far as what made it that, but seeing something about the United States duking it out against the Canadians, like, South Park's movie, and, even though Canada won, which is fine, you take that one, but
they went 1-1 in this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they won last night, but seeing the fights break out and the intensity, and especially since there's been so much controversy or stuff surrounding the NBA All-Star Game and how awful it is, and this is what NHL did, it was actually kind of cool and a really cool concept. So
the thing about hockey is you've got to control the crease, and you've got to get pucks on net, and USA just didn't do that enough last night.
Yep, they did not. They did not. I appreciated their hype video though too, of like going to the miracle scenes of Herb Brooks' speech, stuff like that. It's really good.
Can you play the miracle speech whenever it's like dead even odds? Like they weren't that big of underdogs last night.
I know. Well, now you ruined it. Like I was all excited about it, but now you've just changed it all. So, but no, I don't. I guess you can't. Also, I guess we didn't really get a chance to talk about this yesterday. But Bobby Portis getting hit with a 25 game suspension, man, is, I don't know when you found out, Andrew, but me and Kurtz, when we were driving back, I saw the notification. I was like, what? For banned substance? I was like, dude, what could it, I thought maybe was it, performance enhancing drugs? Was it cocaine? Like, because 25 games is a ton. That is a ton of games.
For what he did, too.
And yeah,
it's crazy. Tramadol, Toradol, tomato. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Even if he purposefully took a pain pill that he wasn't supposed to take, 25 is steep. It's also going to cost him over $2 million because obviously it's an unpaid suspension. Like that's rough. I saw somebody tweet and they were like, Bobby Portis is having like just a rough personal year because I think his grandmother passed recently and he was very close to his grandmother. He's also now getting 25 game suspension. He's going to miss out on a ton of money, and I feel like there was some other thing that happened. But like it's been a little bit of a trying year for Bobby Portis, man. That sucks because he's one of the good ones, Yeah.
I hate it, and I know like Logan brings this up, and this is kind of always the thing that's just bothered me. Wait, that's not sorry. They're talking about Michael Jordan for some reason in the chat. But transplanted Texan. No, what in the world? I'm keeping bringing up the wrong ones. Logan. Here we go.
Right?
Yeah. Let's say they keep popping up on me. He says Miles Bridges beat his wife half to death and only had a 10 game suspension. Yeah. And see, that's where it's kind of like. People, that's where it bothers me the most is like you see stuff that I believe is much more egregious. And I think that society thinks it's much more egregious. And you got, in the case of Bobby Portis, taking a drug that was for pain. And then if you look at the statement, I won't read the whole statement, but the statement by his agent and everything, where it was just a mistake. It was an accident. And it wasn't like something that he had done multiple times. This was like strike 3. I mean, to give him 25 games, that's what is that, 30% of a basketball season, 35%, something nuts. So I feel bad for Bobby, and I really hope that they like change it. But that's just, I don't know. I just really think it's stupid that they hit him with that after trying to take pain medicine, trying to get better.
I imagine there's some kind of appeals process, and maybe they could at least cut it down. Or I mean, 25 is crazy. If you broke a rule, like unknowingly or not or whatever, and you want to make sure you still have the precedent that you can't get away with that, then hell, even give them 10 or something. And I still think that's steep, but I mean, my God, 25 is wild.
Well, again, we're talking about pain pills, which, by the way, shout out to SCT, who says his wife, who is an ER nurse, says that tramadol and Toradol are basically the same thing. So it's like, okay, I understand that one of them is on the banned substance list and one of them's not. But it'd be one thing if he like literally was taking TRT or something crazy, you know what I mean? Like, but you accidentally took HGH, but like, come on.
Yes, that's crazy.
And by the way, I see Razorback Hog also. The third thing I was looking for, his house, he was also robbed not that long ago too. Yeah. So like, it's been a trying time for Bobby Portis, man. It sucks. And I do hope that I would imagine the outcry, which obviously we're Hog fans. So like, we were going to be mad no matter what. But like, I've seen a lot of people in NBA circles and just public figures that have been like, this is over the line, and they need to do something. So I'm hoping the outcry leads to a little bit of some justice here.
It's not like he was pulling a Barry Bonds out there, or smoking crack. So
or hitting his wife.
Yeah.
That's the thing of like if the drugs that he was taking, even accident,
going on Instagram Live with a firearm.
Don't do those things. But it's like if he would have been like taking the drugs and it was helping his basketball game. Okay, but like it just none of it makes sense, none of it adds up. But also just a few other things. Breaking news, guys. This is sad, but apparently Hooters has officially filed bankruptcy. So
really,
John Daly's in shambles.
They had a good run. But I can't remember the last time I've been to a Hooters. So there's probably reason to that of why they're going bankrupt. But
your service is why.
Like
once you cut them off, that was all. They couldn't overcome that.
That was it. Yeah, they used to have one in Fayetteville, in like the worst located place ever in the city of Fayetteville that you could ever have, and it lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. But still, Hooters officially shut down. So, all right. So, any other chats that I missed, guys? I know we've talked a lot and been all over the place, but it's good to be back in the great state of Arkansas once again.
No, I mean, missed a lot of chats, but
I know
it's a lot of conversation between people. It's a pharmacology class in there right now, so
almost like the things that I like hate, but I actually love at the same time, of like something like that where I know it's like the story itself is not going to get what's talked about. It's going to be like, well, actually, I know this. Actually, it's this. Well, I know this. Well, my person's this. And it's just like, whatever. That's not the story. Just
people want to dispute SET's report. I mean, whatever. That's up to them.
Yeah, I get it. What you're saying here, transplanted Texan, like his biggest mistake was taking a medication not prescribed to him. That's true, but like there are levels to mistakes that you make on this planet, and does the punishment match the crime? Is my question. I think the answer is pretty much no.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished at all. I'm just saying like 25 games is just such a ridiculous thing for it. And also, real quick, because we talked about Bill Self. I don't know if you guys saw this, but from Barry Trammell of the Tulsa World, he was saying that there was a delay in the hiring of a basketball coach with Oklahoma because Bill Self was like almost taking the job at Oklahoma 100% according to his report.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, I was reading what Bill Self's statement was about how he basically admitted like, yeah, I talked to him and answered a bunch of their questions and told them like what you need to be successful in this league and everything. And then like whatever, he wound up not doing it. But in a roundabout way, that's kind of how the conversation started with Cal and Arkansas, where maybe it wasn't like a direct interview, but any ideas in mind? And like, what do you think it takes to be successful? And then finally, like allegedly or whatever, your checks are like, what about you? And wouldn't it have been something if he'd have left Kansas to go to freaking Stillwater?
Now that the SEC, wait, was it Oklahoma State?
Yeah, Oklahoma State. Sorry.
I thought you said Oklahoma. I was like, well, now
I did. I
basketball conference. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I was going to make the joke of like, oh, would the Kansas fans be blowing up the Oklahoma State media, be like, he's cooked, he's no good, good riddance to him.
We tried to tell you. Tried to tell you. They get blown up on that. So, I was going to do this. So, John's Luggage super chat. Thank you, John's Luggage. Says, will you go live when we reunite? As well as another one of, can you go live when I arrive? Plea from the Luggage to go live.
I'm not going to go live when you get the luggage because I don't think like no one cares about that. I don't care about that.
I disagree. People do care. People have been asking about this a lot. But
like, am I going to do it like one of those like weird like Twitch or TikTok videos where it's like an opening of a package? Like, now this is this. Here's what I got. Do this and then go to the next thing. Is like going to be one of those deals.
Like one of those soldiers reunite with his wife, with his wife and kids after a time off. Like film one of those videos where you're like crying.
Yeah. Surprises you. Like you're just, you're on your live, talking to us or whatever. And the luggage is just sitting behind you. And we're like, John, turn around. Surprise.
Golly, just have like Daughtry's I'm Coming Home song in the background playing, like blaring. And it's like, getting the waterworks for everybody. So, geez, I don't think I'm going to go live for my luggage. I just really don't. And if I do, it's because I am just like, I don't know. I'm that like, overcome with emotion from seeing my luggage. So who knows? Maybe it'll happen. But either way. All right, guys, any final thoughts? Andrew, any final thoughts from Arlington this weekend?
Yeah, my only final thought is everyone tap in with the Bombastic Podcast. Be on the lookout. We always say, subscribe, have the notification bell and all that so you'll get alerted. I would just argue if you don't want to do all that, be on the lookout right before you go to sleep tonight because the game's at 7, so ideally it ends around 10 or whatever. Right before you go to sleep tonight, be on the lookout. There will be a post-game reaction video going out. Probably not going to go live at 10:30 p.m., but you'll also get to hear from Dave Van Horn at the press conference afterwards, and so be on the lookout for that, of course. And then tomorrow's going to be a hectic day where you'll have a lot of things coming at you tomorrow night.
I'm just looking forward to a lot of pig positivity this weekend. Good things, good vibes for Razorback fans this weekend.
You know what we're going to be saying on Sunday? That'll do, pig.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And also my final thoughts, and this is just going to the luggage update. I just got a text from Andrew, and he says, wait, it actually looks like it landed in XNA at 11:20 this morning.
Good Lord.
I'm already
Good Lord.
So, but he's not, I said, but this is not on Andrew or anything. So he's just let me know. He's like, I'm not at the airport and at the moment I'll ask later. Cause again, he doesn't even work for United because United's the one that's bringing it back. So but anyways, I'm like,
the best turn in the history of stories would be if it was a Razorback fan who was like, that bastard John Neighbors. Yeah, I've heard all about this, and it just disappears out of thin air again. XNA.
You better go, but John, you literally better go there like right now, actually.
Well, when we get done, I'm gonna call them and just be like, can I just come get it? Unless they're gonna be like the stupid UPS, be like, actually, we're gonna just get delivered to you next Thursday. Like, no, it's there. Can I just come get it? No, that's not how it works. You just can't come get your stuff. We got to give it to you. It's like, So anyways, I'll figure it out. But who knows? If the luggage shows up here any minute, maybe I'll go live. Maybe I'll do an unboxing because you freaks want that type of thing. So I don't know. We'll find out. But either way, it's been fun, folks. Appreciate all of you listening and watching in Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page, as well as following all of our podcasts in the audio form, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast. You can also get after us on social media at Inside Arkansas and our website at InsideArkansas.com for all the latest and greatest up-to-date information on all things Razorback. So for Andrew Ellis down there in Arlington, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Next Monday, we'll see you tonight for the Bombastic post-game show reaction for Razorback Baseball. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.